welcome to It Gets Real episode 2. If you didn't know, I'm starting a new series on my YouTube channel where I basically answer y'all's questions and advice and give my opinion on whatever y'all are struggling with. So last week we talked about friendships, how to make friends, toxic friends, how to know if you have a good friend, and all that good stuff. And today I want to talk about school. I know most of us have gone back to school. I actually went back to school a few days ago this week, and it has been interesting. It's definitely been a little rough, like going from summer to this. Let's just get right on with the questions. Today I don't have any coffee. I'm really sad about it. I've actually been on a little coffee break because I've been really anxious recently, and I felt like coffee had a huge thing to do with that because coffee is caffeine, and caffeine makes you jittery and anxious, and I was always drinking coffee on an empty stomach and not eating enough, and it was just a whole thing. Anyways, that's why I don't have coffee with me today, but I do have my blanket, all the essentials. What's your favorite song to listen to while doing school? This one is from Karis, who I actually met at Clamor Live. So hey Karis! I always listen to ambient or however you say it, ambient music when I'm studying or doing school. It helps me focus so much. It does the same thing as ASMR or white noise. It just gives you something to focus on rather than like the little distracting noises in the room. It's really relaxing, and I have a playlist called Ambient Chill that I listen to always on Spotify. So if you want to do the same thing when you're studying, check out that playlist because it is so nice and so relaxing and gives you something else to focus on. How am I supposed to like school when it gave the hardest times of my life? That is a good question. School can definitely be rough, and a lot of times I feel like we lose sight of why it's important. I feel like it can start to feel as if the teachers are just giving you things to do and you're just kind of doing it for them or the class, or you kind of forget that it's about you and your future and your life. If you don't see the purpose behind what you're doing, it's not gonna feel important whatsoever. I would say just remind yourself of the big picture of school. Like, it's helping you to become a bigger person, to grow your brain and your mind and your knowledge, hopefully get into college, get a good job. School is really, really important, and if you start to see it that way and you kind of take your future into your own hands, you'll realize that it's a good thing and not such a bad thing. And even though it can be stressful, work through those stresses with the knowledge that you're going to be such a bigger person by the end of it. I mean, there's so many experiences you have in school with dealing with people and deadlines and organization and being self-motivated and friends. There's so much that you learn that is really, really important. And if you didn't have school, think about where you would be as like a 20-year-old coming out of school. You'd be like kind of just different. And come watch my videos because my videos are always fun. What time do you go to bed on a school night? I like to go to bed between 9 to 10:30. 10:30 is a little bit late for me. That's usually if I like watched a TV show or something and I'm feeling frisky and the next day I don't have anything too crazy. How to become friends with the new kids. I actually answered this question in my last It Gets Real. I did like a how to get to know people and make new friends. So if you want some advice on that, like that whole entire subject, then check out the video from last week. What to do in awkward situations when your friends aren't around. I'm actually not public schooled, I'm homeschooled, but I can imagine that being in public school, especially from seeing so many movies, I can imagine that there would be lots of chances for awkward situations to come up, and I almost feel like there's not really a way to fully just avoid things being a little bit uncomfortable. So what I would do personally is change your idea of what's awkward. Like if something a little bit weird is happening, I feel like the best thing you can do is start laughing or be like, wow, this is awkward, or break the bubble of the fact that it's awkward and kind of just take life less serious, because being around that many people every single day, something weird is bound to happen. And so if you just treat it like it's normal, everyone else will think so too. And the reason why it's awkward is because everyone is making it awkward. Do you ever wish you went to I just added the word ever. It doesn't say ever on here. Do you wish you went to public public high school with like football games and homecomings? I don't know. This is interesting because I've thought about this a lot, obviously, because I am and I have been homeschooled my whole entire life. But I don't think so, because the thing about homeschooling is that there's so much freedom with it and I have so much time. I don't think I would be able to film so many YouTube videos if I had public school, because half my day would be dedicated to something else. And with school and homeschooling, I can like take a day off and then I can do school the next day. It's very free and I can work around my schedule. I feel like the main negative side is like there isn't like an easy community. It's not like, oh yeah, we're all going to the homecoming today, or this or this or this. And so that can be a little hard sometimes because I have to work really hard to find community. How to get yourself to focus during class. This was actually a hard thing for me literally today. I was sitting on my bed and I was reading a history book and I literally kept like drifting off. Like, you ever like read words but you don't actually process what you're saying in your head? You just kind of read the words and then you have to go back and you're like, wait, what did that say? And then you have to go back and like reread it. Something I like to do is play with slime. I know. I like to either play with slime or get some sort of toy to fidget with. I have these little like wick things with like a marble inside, and you can just like play with it like this. I like to put on my ambient music. I like to make sure I'm like fed, or I have like maybe a drink to sip every once in a while, or maybe take notes or highlight something while you're reading. Katie asked, what's your least favorite subject? Hi, Katie. Katie is literally always on my video premieres and on my Instagrams, and it's amazing. My least favorite subject is anything science. I hate science with a passion. I think it's so boring and useless. Like, you know how people are either an English and history person or science and math? I'm like a math and English person, which is really strange. It's like a mix. I've never been able to connect with science. Like, I've never had great teachers for it, and it's always just, I don't know, I hate it so much. I really do. Ugh. Comment below your least favorite subject, because I want to know. It's so funny to see the way that people's brains work and like how different subjects work for them. Do you do your school right away, and do you do it all alone, or you ask for help? I like to do my school right away every single morning, because if I even take like a second to get distracted, then it can be really hard for me to get out of that distraction and push myself to then get started on school. Whereas if I just wake up, I'm fresh and there's not too much on my mind just yet. But like if I get on my phone, it's gonna be so painful for me to have to get off my phone. You know what I mean? I do my school pretty much on my own, although I do ask for help from my mom, especially this last week, like only just starting. I definitely have a lot of questions. I'm like, oh wait, what does she mean by this? And what does she mean by this? But I think once the school year gets rolling, I'll probably won't need as much help. Can you explain homeschooling? Like, do you study on your own? Who explains the lessons? So for homeschooling, there's a lot of different options. There's homeschooling curriculums and books. So there'll be actually a theme that says like, this is what we're learning, this is how to do it. And then you practice and you, my hair. And then you practice and you do it. Or you'll have a parent walk you through what you're doing, or you'll have a little lesson. Like there's a lot of online courses that you can pay attention to, and they'll give you a certain book, and then you follow the book, and then you follow the lessons too. And there'll be like tests and stuff. But for me, I actually go to an in-person school twice a week. So I go on Mondays and Tuesdays. If you want to see the orientation for my classes, then you should check it out, because it was such a fun day. I have a uniform and friends and teachers and all the types of things. Oh yay, the sun's coming out. Half the video doesn't have sun. Anywho, how to balance school and social life. I feel like I got this question just reworded like a few different times. I would say that schedules, lists, and the notes app are your best friend. Without a time schedule and a schedule of when you're going to be doing different things, there's going to be no time to fit in anything social, because it's going to feel like, oh, I have to do this and this and this and this, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime and you're still working. But if you compact everything into certain time groups and you say, okay, I can only work on this subject for this amount of time, and you just keep on moving and following a schedule, you'll be able to fit in time to have a social life later in the evening or whenever you decide is right for you. I know no one wants to hear this, but getting up a little bit earlier, that has helped me so much. Like training myself to want to get up early has been just amazing. It gives you more time in the day, and for me personally, it gives me more energy, and that has just helped me a lot. Okay, I think that's all the questions that I'm gonna answer in today's video. Make sure to watch last week. It gets real, because honestly, all the stuff with friends that I talked about can relate a lot to like how to deal with like people at school. I hope you guys are enjoying the school year, and I hope it's not too stressful for you. I love you, besties. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.